Hello there, you're welcome back to my channel. And just a very quick one on happiness. I want to say that being happy does not necessarily mean you never have problems. That is further from the truth. As a matter of fact, I have figured out that some of the happiest persons in this world are the people that have endured most heartbreaking circumstances in their lives. And striving to end your problems before you become happy will actually create more problems for you. And you cannot afford to postpone your joy until all your problems are over. It is an invitation to misery. I have realized something. The way of the happy people, if you have clearly observed, is that they have somehow realized that this world is full of problems. That no matter how hard they try, the challenges in this world will never end. And what did they do? They decided to become free of these problems. How? By distinguishing what is up to them from what is not. By clearly separating what they can do from what they cannot do. And very importantly, sometimes, maybe you have also noticed, some problems seem to, sort of fade away when they are simply left alone. It's almost as if when you let go, when you stop wanting to fix all your problems, the problems dissolve naturally on their own. Why is that? The more you meddle with certain issues, the more they increase. This has been my reality. I don't know about yours. Therefore, my conclusion, of course, this may not be your conclusion and is different from one person to another, but from my experience, I can say that to be happy is a decision. It is to say to yourself that now that I have realized that it is an illusion to want to solve all my problems and create a problem-free world, that there will always be something. There would always be a problem to solve. There would always be a challenge. And knowing this, I decide to choose happiness no matter what. This is the caveat here. I decide to choose happiness, to find happiness within me, not in the world. I decide to look within me, to find happiness within myself, no matter what the circumstances are around me. In our world today, it's very clear that we are living in one of the most troubling times in the history of humanity. But it is up to us to decide how much the external circumstances will affect our internal state. So knowing that I decide to choose happiness no matter what, I then make up my mind and work with my mind to continually look for reasons to be happy within myself and around me. This is where the power is. If my external circumstances show me otherwise, I have the power to retreat back within myself to find that which no one else in the world can take away from me. So my friends, I just want to let us know that happiness is a decision. It is something that we have to find in ourselves by ourselves. We can all agree that our circumstances have failed us. Our governments have failed us. Religion has failed us. Society, the systems have all failed us. Families and friends, institutions, organizations, schools, universities, and all kinds of places and things and groups have failed us. So what then is the solution? I can understand that, someone may come up with an argument asking, why would I be talking about happiness when the whole world is suffering? There are lots of people undergoing different kinds of, extreme conditions, situations, famine, war, devastations, tribulations, and pain and sorrow. But one thing that is very clear is that from the beginning of this world, of course, I was not there at the beginning of this world, but history has shown us that humanity has always had problems. We have always had wars. We have always had famines. We have always had troubles. We have always had all kinds of difficulties in this world. So it didn't start with us today. And even when we leave this world, the problems and challenges would always be there, even though they may take another form, but challenges would always be there. So this is why these kinds of messages about happiness, finding happiness within yourself, it's very important. We cannot say, okay, well, because there are lots of challenges in the world and people are suffering, then we don't have to bring them the good news about happiness. We don't have to talk about how it is possible to find happiness within ourselves. I think that's it's a wrong way of looking at it. So I believe that this is a good news in the sense that we are trying to point people to the fact that they have the power within themselves. So we are not entirely helpless. We are not dependent on our systems and our governments and our institutions to secure our happiness. That the people can realize that happiness is something within their reach. Happiness is something that they can actually find within themselves, and by us taking our eyes away from our external world, our circumstances, because the more we invest our attention, and someone rightly said that energy flows where attention goes, so the more we invest our attention on our external circumstances, our problems, the wars and the catastrophes and all of that, the more unhappy we become. The more our energy, will flow into those things, and we see that we become pulled into it. But the more we withdraw our attention from these circumstances, and of course we have to do what we have to do. We have to engage with our society. We have to get involved in trying to do our part to eliminate most of the problems we have. But the major work is on the inside of us. It is here that the major work has to be done, because you can just imagine, when I work on myself, cultivate happiness within myself, find happiness within me, find joy within me, and the next person around me finds joy within themselves, and it goes on from one person to another. It creates like a chain of happiness, a chain of good, a chain of joy. This is how our world is transformed. This is how our families are transformed. So we are not going to be waiting for the whole world to be transformed. We transformed on individual level. So even though circumstances are really difficult, I can understand that. But the question is, how do we come out of it? How do we come out of it? So we don't spend time talking so much about the problems, because the problem's already there. What can you do? So to solve the problem is to talk about something that is against the problem. And one of the best ways I have figured out is to literally, remove attention from the external circumstances and continually build my internal world. You can do that through meditation. You can do that through journaling. You can do that through taking a walk or going to the gym, or I don't know, whatever that it is that makes you happy. You can do that through sitting in silence, solitude, or reading a book, just doing something that is not focused on the problem. I can assure you that the more you do this, the more you would see that happiness is indeed a decision, and it is something that you have power to influence. I wish you a very nice day. Until I come your way next time, have a wonderful day.